Sup nerds! Today we're going to be doing something a little different. I love RPGs in general. Y'all know I love Fallout. Y'all know I love collecting things in Fallout 76. And Fallout 76 is how I got my channel monetized, so I will always be thankful to Fallout 76. That said, me, like all other longtime Fallout 76 fans, have been feeling a little shift in the way Bethesda has been treating the game for a while now. Not that they were super good with 76 before, of course, because for a long time now we would only get like one big update every 6 or 7 months, sometimes in a year, and the rest of the time we would only be getting filler content. And sure, some of those filler contents were stuff for me to collect from repetitive seasonal events, but even these filler contents were sometimes more filler than others. Like sometimes we would get unique weapon skins, which was always appreciated, unique apparels, but sometimes it would just be another platform with 3 color variants, each with their own plans to learn, and then there were 5 different kinds of platforms, and they all had different color variants. And it was times like that that made us all wonder if Bethesda had just given up on 76. But at least with the Atlantic City update, it looked like things were going in the right direction. Brand new questlines that actually had a conclusion to them, 2 new expeditions in a whole new area. Even though it wasn't a region in the open world, it was still somewhere we could go and explore, and of course, new stuff to collect. It was great, it was fun, and even though people like me grinded everything in less than a week, I still thought it was a pretty great update, and thought that if the future updates were anything like that, then heck, we wouldn't have anything to worry about. And of course, later we did get Skyline Valley update, and that was another great one. A brand new region in the open world, great questline, a new nuke boss, tons of stuff to collect including several unique weapons, more public events. It was awesome. Surely Bethesda was focusing on 76, and this was proof of it, right? Well. Shortly after we did get Milepost Zero, which, though the idea was cool, the execution was done poorly. They just got the free range public event that was already in the game and then put it on there as a caravan activity, and that was super repetitive. Not to mention they did take out one of the NPCs that was meant to be in there, which meant that all the stuff that we could get from her was also missing, even though they showed those things front and center in the launch trailer of the Milepost Zero update. So aside from all the repetitive filler content in the rest of the year, this was one of the big updates that was, honestly, very disappointing. But the big updates that came after that was raids. That's right, Fallout 76 finally had an endgame content, and we had something to actually test our builds on aside from the nuke bosses. So despite there not being much to that update aside from just the raid itself and its rewards, it was still very welcomed by the players. And with the promise of different raids to come in the future, things were looking good, and Milepost Zero just seemed like a little hiccup in the grand plan of things. But I think the quote-quote shift in the way Bethesda was treating Fallout 76 came with the fishing update.
Hello there. Beautiful day to relax by the old fishing hole, wouldn't you say?
And I don't know what caused this, because with the first season of the Fallout TV show bringing in so many new players and at least a lot of interest in Fallout 76, one would think that Bethesda would double their efforts to retain the number of players through cool new activities and quests and possibly crossover contents with the TV show, but no. In fact, we got absolutely no crossover content that year. We got fishing as a big update and not much else. And don't get me wrong, for a while the fishing was okay, fun even, or at least collecting all the stuff was fun for me. But with the fishing update, it was the first time that they included collectible rewards through challenges, which was interesting and different for sure, but also some of these challenges took months to complete. In fact, we're still doing the axolotl ones, and we'll only be able to finish them in May of this year. And I think that was the turning point, because before that, the big updates were fun to do even if they were short. We could unlock the stuff pretty quickly or not, people could do it at their own pace. But with the fishing update, even if you wanted to farm everything really quickly, there were some things that were just time-gated, like the axolotl challenges, or just excessively repetitive, which obviously was designed to keep the players grinding for longer, even if it was evident that it was going to be too repetitive and tiring for the players. In fact, from my group of friends, I'm the only one that finished all the fishing challenges. Everyone I know stopped catching fish, stopped catching axolotls as well, because such repetition just makes everything utterly boring and pointless. Not only that, but this is when DLC bundles first became pay to win. Now, here's the thing about these bundles. You have to pay actual money for these and you can't get them with atoms. So people who farmed atoms in a free-to-play manner couldn't get their hands on this, which of course, up to that point it wasn't such a big issue because they were mostly just cosmetic stuff or variants of items that we could get in-game, and sometimes at most had some atoms included. But here with the fishing update, we could get not only some of this cosmetic stuff, but also a live bait barrel, which is not a variant of anything that existed before. And what's the big deal about that? Well, it would generate bait for you to get, but not only common bait, improved bait as well. Now, from the food containers all over the overworld, we could occasionally get improved bait once in a while, but having the barrel will make it a much more consistent source of baits. So at the time when people were still taking fishing seriously, this was considered by many to be pay to win. And more recently, we did get the Burning Springs update, and a lot of people were looking forward to this, not just any new region, but it was a different state. We were getting Ohio in the open world, brand new questline, new faction of raiders, new public events, heck, it sounded like we were back on track. But immediately, no one was able to log on to play in the first day. And when we were finally able to play on the second day, a lot of us were still having connection issues. So of course our expectations were high, not to mention they included the goal. So yes, the crossover content that we wanted was going to be here. But was it? Take a look at this goal. Does it look very different? Now take a look at the gold that Call of Duty got. How come the gold that Call of Duty got is better than the gold that Fallout got? Does that seem weird? Also, why is the ghoul here? The whole time, doing everything you had to do in the content, nothing he does has anything to do with the show. It could have been just any other character in his place and we wouldn't have known the difference. That's the big crossover content. Not to mention, the questline felt very bare bones and like not a lot of effort was put into it. With them somehow being able to knock you out while you're in a power armor just by sneaking up on you, with them not taking away your weapons while you're supposedly a prisoner, to not being able to shoot the guards while being a prisoner with all your weapons on. Even Fallout 3 did better than that, and how many years ago was that? And of the previous updates that gave us questlines, I think this one is not only the shortest one, but also the only one that didn't actually get a conclusion. And yeah, everybody is saying that we'll get a part 2 of the questline soon when season 2 of the TV show ends. But at this point in time right now, a ton of people I know have already quit playing 76, because it goes back to this whole repetitive and seemingly unending challenges. And this time, it's even worse than the fishing. Just the 150 Abraxodine briefcases was already really annoying to get, but for a unique weapon, sure, we'll do it. But then the headhunts and the grunt hunts, having to start headhunts? Bro, what kind of sadistic person decided that this was a good idea? If you count all of them, it's almost 500 grunt hunts that we need to do to finish those challenges, but also 500 headhunts that we need to do. If you aren't paying caps for the wanted posters, to start your own headhunt, it will be 1 headhunt for every 4 grunt hunts. So if the people in your lobby are not feeling too keen on doing these headhunts anymore, which they aren't, you will have to get the wanted posters yourself, so you can be sure that you will be doing way more than 500 grunt hunts in order to finish all of the 500 headhunts. And this is a weird choice that they decided to make, right? It's not like they didn't see how badly the fishing challenges were received last time, and yet they decided to make it even worse this time. And I know some of the corporate paladins out there might come to Bethesda's defense and say that 500 is not that bad, that grunt hunts are pretty easy to do, you can finish them really quickly, but I'm not saying we can't do it, right? Have you tried counting to 500? It's not a difficult task, anyone can do it, but it is deathly boring to do so. And that's a fact. No matter how fast you can do a grunt hunt, you won't be doing it faster than you can count to 1. So how much more tedious will doing 500 grunt hunts be than just counting to 500? Now imagine doing 500 headhunts. It feels like with the rise in numbers of Fallout 76 players and the popularity of the Fallout TV shows, instead of thinking, wow, people really like Fallout, let's put more effort into this, they went, oh, they really like Fallout, huh? let's just throw them a bone once in a while to keep them busy while we work on the next thing. Of course, this is all speculation, there's no way to prove that, but what else could justify this low effort, blatant grindfest by design? Not to mention, we got the Burning Springs bundle with the Burning Springs update, which it was $8 and still mostly cosmetic except for one item, the Ammo-matic. And this produces ammo out of thin air. Well, that's not a big deal because we already had something like that, right? Not like this, we haven't. The Armco Ammunition's construction appliance, which can be gotten in-game for gold bullions, is what we had before, and it produces a set amount of ammo every 1.44 minutes, and you can set which ammo that you want in here, and it will start producing on its own. But the Ammo-matic that we get for $8? Well, instead of me explaining, I think I can show you the difference. Let's put the same kind of ammo to be produced by both, and you can be the judge of which one is better. It is not even a contest. The Ammo-matic is definitely pay to win. Anyone who says otherwise is just lying to themselves. You can just sit here and get so much ammo in just 10 minutes. But then we got another bundle, a deluxe bundle this time, the Mojave bundle. And that came out just a few days ago. And this is what broke the camel's back. Just a day after watching the TV show episode in which they showed the NCR Power Armor, Bethesda put out this Mojave Deluxe bundle, which has the aforementioned NCR Power Armor.
Never underestimate the power of brand recognition.
And some new Vega sign, an outfit, some titles, and what seemed to be a Super Sledge skin. That said, this bundle, however, was not the usual $8. In fact, because it was deluxe, it was $30. That's right, with just 10 more bucks you could buy Arc Raiders at full price. But not only so, it turns out that Super Sledge? Yeah, that's not a skin. For the first time in 76 history, this was a exclusive unique weapon being sold for real money. And will you look at this? This Ad Victorium Super Sledge has one of the brand new 4-star legendary mods on it, the Charger. And as most of you know by now, if you know how to craft a weapon which has a specific mod, you can just craft a bunch of it and dismantle it until you learn to craft that specific mod. It saves you so much time and hassle of grinding raids for a chance of getting a 4-star item, hoping that it is the 4-star mod that you need, and scrapping it for a 1% chance of learning said mod. But now, you can just have it for $30. That's the definition of pay to win. And you might be thinking, dude, it is one very specific 4-star mod that only melee users will want. It is not a big deal. But don't you see that it's a gradual thing? It's been a trend and who knows how far this will go. And I know some of you might say, dude, just don't buy it then. But this shouldn't even be an alternative, because the moment it is, people are definitely going to buy it, at least because of the NCR Power Armor.
Never underestimate the power of brand recognition.
But any corporation who sell this kind of things will see these numbers and use that as justification to roll out more pay-to-win content. Heck, it's already happening. This one is $30, included with an exclusive weapon which they never did before. So who is to say what the next bundle will have or how expensive it's going to be? Look at all the games that had terrible monetizations, like Destiny 2 in general and World of Warcraft mounts. Everyone there said speak with your wallet, don't buy the outrageously priced stuff, and they will stop doing that. Did that work? No, it didn't. Because the moment it is an alternative, certain people will justify getting it. Just look at all the online games. History has shown us that a small percentage of players are willing to spend extravagant amounts of money in the game they like. So much so that people have coined a term for them, whales. And we have seen this in countless games. So saying, just don't buy it, doesn't work because whales are a thing, and the corporations will just turn these numbers to justify going further to see how far they can push this limit. So yes, it is already a losing battle for the general gamer like most of us the moment pay-to-win options are made public. And if you need any more evidence that Bethesda is slowly pushing this limit more and more, just look at the seasons. When it was still called scoreboards before, the stuff you needed Fallout First for were mostly EXP boosts, atoms, player icons, and consumables. Sure, there were 1 or 2 big items that you needed first to get, but that was it. In fact, a lot of people back then used that as a positive point for getting people to play 76. These are the same points that they told me about. All the updates in this game are free, and all the season passes, you can practically get everything in there for free. So even if you don't have Fallout First, you wouldn't be missing much in the scoreboard. But look at how things are now. Every page has at least 2 items that require Fallout First, and a lot of them are not consumables. A lot of them are camp items and apparels. And looking at each of the things that I talked about here separately may just seem like I'm overreacting. But taking a step back and looking at this situation as a whole, I can't help but feel like we are in a downhill trend. And I'm sure some people will just comment, dude, if you don't like it, stop playing. It's not that I don't like it. I like this game. It is specifically because I like this game that I feel like ranting like this, because I don't want this game to go on this path that it seems like it's on right now. If I didn't care about this game, I would simply quit and not talk about it. So what, am I just going to complain? Well, my channel is still pretty small, as you can see. I doubt Bethesda will ever look at this video, but in the off chance that someone working at Bethesda sees this, I do have at least one suggestion, that of course it is in no way professional or anything, because I am just a gamer, but that's who the games are made for, right? For gamers. So I think I have at least one valid point here, and that is to focus more on your endgame activities. Because right now, you need to worry about retaining the number of players in the game. The TV show and whatnot will do the job in hyping people up to trying this game out, making them into new players. The Fallout 76 devs don't need to worry about new players, because everything in the game will be new to them. They will be busy with the main story quests, all the different public events, exploring all the regions, expeditions, daily ops, etc, etc. The new players got their hands full, so you don't have to worry about that. Just give a few TV show crossover content once in a while for all the players, for them to be like, hey, it's that thing from the show. Cuz?
Never underestimate the power of brand recognition.
But make it free or like part of an event or something. Cause come on, we already watch your show and play your game. You want us to pay $30 for a power armor skin? Don't be that guy. Don't be so stingy. But more importantly, worry about keeping the old players active. Because once the new players are done with all that stuff that I mentioned before, they will end up right where the old players are at. And if your old players are quitting because they have nothing to do, well, guess what the new players who get there will be doing too. Yes, new quest lines and new regions and new public events are fun and good. Yes, I'm not arguing against that. But only working on those, you're playing cat and mouse with the players, making an update to keep the players busy in order to work on the next update. And sure, it may look like it's working, but look at the state of things right now. It's a downhill trend. This is not a sustainable plan on the long run, especially if you're going to resort to cheap tricks like putting cool stuff behind 500 headhunt challenges. No one wants that, and people will quit before they complete that. So what kind of endgame stuff should you do? More raids for one, of course. Look at the Gleaming Depths raid. People are still running it right now. In every MMO and online looter shooters, raids are a must. At least one new raid a year would be fantastic. But more importantly, something with PvP. Because repetitive activities like fishing and headhunts will only get you so far before people get bored, as being evidenced right now. And the challenge of the raids will keep people more hooked than just repetitive activities, but that too eventually will feel more like a chore than gaming. But put the unpredictability of human interaction into the mix, and people will be hooked on it for much longer. Look at the most popular online games right now. All the shooters and MOBAs, these are all still based on repetition, but the fact that you are going against other human players makes it that much more exciting and unpredictable, making each round be very different from the others. And if there's one thing that 76 is missing right now, it's PvP. And I know the current PvP system is terrible and no one likes it, but hey, there is an activity that y'all had that y'all decided to scrap. Yes, I'm talking about Nuclear Winter. And I know the reason y'all scrapped it was because no one was playing at the time, but hear me out. The current 76 scene right now is different from back then. The game is much more well-rounded out, a lot of things have been improved, yeah, There are a lot more variety of items and weapons, and even enemies. And just looking at the comments of some of my videos where I talk about Nuclear Winter, people are generally divided into two categories. Those who have played it back then and miss it, and those who started playing after it was scrapped and wanted to try it. Please bring Nuclear Winter back, or at least some kind of variation of it. Polish it a little, include some enemy creatures in there, different weapons, different items, or heck, maybe completely different PvP activity if you think is better. But giving this one activity in which players can go toe-to-toe with other players will be very different from anything we have available right now in 76. And having more variety of endgame content will keep all the players more active. And that's what Fallout 76 needs right now. Yes, I like collecting things, and I'm still grinding out the headhunts even though I'm complaining every day about it, but I'm a minority here. You can't expect to keep everybody hooked with such cheap tricks. Not everybody is autistic. So please don't let this game die. Focus on endgame activities, at least for a little while before going back to making new regions and questlines. Give the old players more stuff to be excited about. And yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with me. And yeah, so far, we only have 3 pay-to-win items in Fallout 76, the Live Bait Barrel, the Ammo-Matic, and the Ad Victorium Super Sledge. Let's see if the next bundle will have a full unique power armor in it. So tell me, did you end up getting the Mojave bundle? And was it just for the power armor? Let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider helping the channel out by clicking join down below to become a member. Subscribe to see more videos like this. And as per usual, always nerd on.